What up, gang? You know what it is. Friday is here. That means it's time for a live stream. Arturo's running away from me as quick as possible so he doesn't get asked questions. I'll come back to him, don't you worry. I'm getting real loud, getting real aggressive this Friday because we're getting aggressive making power. Got this beautiful little F8. I'm going to let people filter in before I really start getting too crazy into it. Someone's here. Hello, whoever is here. Some people that filter in. We got three folks. It's good enough for me. Nothing on the dyno today. Let's go take a peek outside. It's miserable. What up, Cam? Good. He's doing his thing. He's got head gaskets. He's got parts. Parts are coming in hot and ready. Not like that. I don't like that. No one likes that. We hate that here. Ugh. It's fun to drive on a radial car. So let's get into it. Let's get straight up into it. Let's see what we got. Let's walk around. Could you, should use. We got some fun things about boost. Got some boost questions. Got some boost related things. Got some turbos going on. We put the turbos on. We put all the pipes on. We mark where they are, and then we take them off once we get fitment perfect. That way we can make sure everything's aligned. We can put some gasket sealant on there, make sure there are no exhaust leaks. Throwing off O2, stuff like that. None of that's fun. So last night, this whole car all the way had a full turbo kit on it. I had everything marked. It looked great. And then I took it off so I could, do my thing, get it all gasketed up. All Motor X. Give me your exhaust. You don't want it back. Give me your exhaust. You really don't want it back. I need it. That exhaust, this car, it'll weigh less if you don't have an exhaust. Just saying, it will. Happy Friday, everyone. But yeah, so turbos go on, we mark everything, we make sure there are no leaks or nothing like that. So there's a whole bunch of fitment we got to make sure. When we have the mid pipes come out here, I want to make sure they're even side to side. So I measure everything, we get real technical with it, and it's fun. So all that was done. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like I did anything, but I did. Trust me, believe me. Trust, believe, gang. It's all about trusting and believing. Let's see where we're at. Little pursuit action going on crazy, getting headers done. Arturo's doing his thing. I'm not gonna bug him too much. Just gonna let you watch the master of his craft.
Can you stand right here?
Stand right here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. He thinks he's cute. He thinks he's cute. Well, he is. But he's doing his work, getting this motor back in here. Got shorty headers on there. Actually, we don't. They're there. Had. That's why we smoke test things. So we smoke test things. Found out, 222, tiny leaks. That's not good. We don't like leaks because leaks throw off fueling. No good. That's why we smoke test everything. That's why we're really particular about that because it throws off fueling, it throws off the tune, it throws off a whole bunch of stuff. You don't want that, man. You don't want that. So definitely got to make sure things are smoke tested. Let's take a look at all Motor X. Look at all that motor. All that motor. All that. Ooh, those would look so good on a 2005 Chrysler 300. I'm just saying. Some of your exhaust, Chris, please. So she's in, gonna be going on the dyno soon, getting some steezy numbers, making some good all motor sounds. So this is basically level 4.5. She's a monster. He's looking at me strange over there. I can't zoom in. Oh, I can. Look at little CJ over there. Look at big CJ, big dog CJ. Big dog CJ. Motor for sale. Anyone want a motor? We got a motor for sale. We actually have a couple of Hellcat motors. See that one over there? Let's go take a look at it. That could be yours. Oh my God, get rid of that junk 5.7. Put in a real man's motor. I have two 5.7s. I don't know what that makes me, but let's see what's going on over here. We got Dan laying on the ground. We got AO laying on the ground. We got CJ. He has the best job, which is man in the lift. He doesn't do nothing but sit there and sit pretty. He doesn't have to lay on the ground. So, quite happy about that. This is, if you can see that, these are some billet evolution valve covers. This happens to be the shop caller's old motor. See a new life. You guys are going to see something out of this truck very soon. Shop cars 426 in this bad boy. Ready to make some steam. Ready to make all of it. Boop, boop, boop. It's going to be wicked, guys. I love a 426 Jeep. There's just something about it, you know. Big old truck, big old motor, big old power. Give me a mo power, baby.
I can't.
Okay, he can't. He can't. Tell Dad I need help with this whole fuel cell project. Yeah. Dad, he needs help with the fuel cell project. Help him. So we got that going on. What else do we have? We got Mr. McAllister's car sitting pretty. See what else we got. We got other McAllister car sitting pretty. Let's see. That's about it. Some projects have left, some projects have come in. It's kind of where we are. We actually have 2 pursuits. We have that one and we have another one. Kind of cool. I kind of would want one. I want a lot of cars, guys. If you have a cheap Charger RT, and when I say cheap, I don't mean $8,000. That is expensive. I want to have something cheap enough to put into a wall and not feel bad about. Let me know. So, might throw turbos at it, might not. Probably will, based on the could use, should use. We're going to go over how awesome turbos are. They're dope. So, I think we're going to head in. Let's just see if there's anything over in the whole Joe world. What up, Joe? Let's see if he's here. Boop, boop, boop. Boop. Let's see. Little engraver. So, we try and do everything we possibly can. Everything, which means engraving. All of it. So, we have this little rig set up so we can engrave them in-house once they come back. So, Grip Tech Rings of Hell pulley. You can see that little Grip Tech. So, when it comes back, we mark them. That way we know, you know. 266. You want to be a man, you're going to run this on a stock 2.7. Don't actually do that. Run it on a 2.4 that's ported, HD race bearings, all that. You're going to have a fun time. Let's see what else we got. I think that's about it. I don't see anything going on in there. I think he took something off. Is there anything in the lathe going on? Not yet. The man is in the office. I don't dare disturb him. He'll kill me. Let's see. Let's see if Jay's ready. There's Joe. Woo. All right. Bing, bang, bop. What up, Jay?
What's going on?
How's...
Yeah.
Oh, my God, dude. If there's one day that I set this up right before we sit down, it would be a miracle.
And clean the lens.
I do.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
No, you don't.
I do. I'm just going to take the case off it.
That's what I do, to clean it.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just mean permanently.
Well, that works too.
Okay.
What's going on, everybody?
What up?
I'm
Mike.
super sick, and my eye is closing. I might have to go to the doctor after I'm done here, so I do apologize for that. So if I look sick, it's because I am sick.
Yep. Sick of cars not making enough power is what we're sick of. We have a solution.
That's not a good,
Okay.
good advertisement, no. Everybody in my house is sick. Hi, Boogie, if you're up still. I know the others are probably sleeping. Evelyn and Shelby, you guys should be taking a nap. But, yeah, the whole family's rocking a 102 plus fever. Mom, get better. I'll be home in a little bit, everybody. So, but, yeah, if something's up with my eye, no idea. So if I look like a pirate with glasses, that's why. I can't see anything right now, so yeah, we'll get right into it. I don't need to see anything to talk, right? So we figured we'd throw a subject out this week about transitioning to turbos. Okay, so we have a ton of vehicles here right now that are doing it from blowers, both PD and centrifugal. We've seen the discussions about it on the internet, so we figured might as well kind of head it a little bit. I know we did it last year, but it's a new year, and it's probably been a while since we had the subject. So, man, my beard is really fluffed today, too.
Dude, it is. You look like Remy.
They say the dogs look like their owners, right? So that being said, why? We had somebody yesterday literally say, why would somebody switch from their Pro Charger setup, right, to a twin turbo setup? So we're going to go over the differences. Now, right out of the gate, the one area that is a negative for doing turbos is going to be the cost, especially if you have a supercharger already in place, right? You already spent the money for some people on a supercharger if you had one already, you know, from a factory vehicle. So the cost of turbos all around, when done right with quality products, is going to be more expensive than a blower application. So the benefits, though, exceed, you know, just surpass any of the negatives, right? Or the negative, I should say. So it's going to be hard to see, so I'm going to need my Vanna White here, Tulo, to bring it close to the camera so you guys can see. Let's see if we can get it to zoom in there. So this is an actual dyno sheet from a car that had a D1X Pro charger, and then we swapped it over to Helion twin 62 mil setup. So I use this dyno graph specifically because the issue we had with this particular vehicle is the belt was slipping when we were trying to achieve a big horsepower number for them. So this was the stage 2. So I'm gonna wait till Cam's off the phone talking. I'm sorry. So put it back up. Okay, they don't need to see me. They need to see the dyno graph. So this was the stage 2 with the 8 rib setup, guys, just so you know. So we tried pulling down and we just couldn't make any more boost. You can see right at the edge where it was slipping. There was nothing we could do by adjusting belt tension, changing belt sizes. The only way we could maintain without belt slip was if we went to a larger pulley, which would not allow for the power goals that this person had in mind, right? So right out of the gate, you can see the boost curve, how the red line is the centrifugal blower. So naturally, low to mid-range power is sacrificed, and you can see in the horsepower graph right here, right? I mean, look at that massive difference from the red to the blue. So you want to talk about that fun red light to red light feeling, or, you know, the initial hit. Right here, you can see this turbo setup is going to make a tremendous amount more power down low in the usable range. Okay.
Heck yeah.
Also up top, when it comes to the belt slip area, we made less boost and made almost the exact same horsepower as well. So this setup we will reveal the numbers for in the coming weeks once we're all done with it. But this was just kind of baseline to make sure everything was good. Anytime we install a turbo kit, we do the initial pulls, pull it off, triple check everything, and then put it back on. So. But just to show you in regards to peak horsepower, which is the big number everybody focuses on, it's almost identical here. Now, if we look at the actual boost numbers, which are down here, the centrifugal D1X blower made 14.1 pounds of boost before it started falling off. It's whereas on the turbo setup, we had 12.4. Now, understand 12.4 is down where it first spikes the boost, and it kind of tapers a little bit. So the boost is actually less than that. So you're talking almost 2 pounds of boost more and making the same power, you know, from a D1X to a turbo setup, right? And the torque is just insane. I mean, if you see the torque from 738 to 814, so we're over 80 foot-pounds of torque more in that low to mid-range, right? So now you do equal boost, so that 14 PSI flat across the board, it's going to be crazy, right? So the other thing too is you see here, this particular car has wastegate set up. We have it set up at 11, 12 pounds of boost. And then with the boost controller, we can turn it up to basically as high as these turbos want to go, right? So we can make 30 pounds of boost with this particular setup by changing the boost from the driver's seat. Whereas the struggle from the blower was belt slip, right? We couldn't get any more power. And then for those making big power that are like, oh yeah, I'm making 950, I'm happy with it. Well, you're 950 all the time. So you're constantly dragging down that motor by spinning that blower. And if you want more, you have to change belt to pulley, and the flexibility is lacking, right? So this is a perfect example of efficiency right there. You're seeing it on your screen. You really can't beat it. Efficient, right? Flexibility. And the ability to grow with it as well. So is it worth it? It's the worth is up to you. The value is up to you to determine that. I think it is the move. Now, I joke about it and say that the Mopar community is like 10 years behind everybody else. So you're hearing now more and more about people going the turbo route where, you know, it's kind of new. So a lot of people are kind of nervous and afraid of it. So it is one of those things where this community, the Mopars themselves, are 10 years behind, where Ford and GM, they're pro turbo across the board.
They've been with it.
They've been with it, and the Mopars are just finally starting to get it. So I know a lot of people out there, when the initial kits that were available, like Pro Charger and Whipple and stuff like that, it was what was available at the time. Now with Helion and other companies coming out with accessible turbo options, it's kind of hard to beat. There really is no negatives to it, guys, other than the initial cost. But if you do plan on growing with your build, if you do plan on future higher horsepower numbers, it is very hard to beat. It really is. So kind of a quick subject. It's, you know, the numbers speak for themselves, right? I mean, you make less boost, more horsepower, you equal the same boost, you make even more horsepower, and then the flexibility that goes behind it, on top of how they sound, right? Who doesn't love a turbo spooling? So those that have followed the RHO and the Hurricane data we've been collecting, I mean, that's another example of what's going on there, right? I mean, a stock vehicle, we gained 130 horsepower simply by tuning. So you're not going to get that out of a 5.7 or a 392. You know, even a Hellcat with just a tune, you're not going to gain 130 horsepower. You have to mechanically change or add components to be able to do so. So turbos are the way of the future, everybody. And you know, you don't want to be left behind by, you know, what you're thinking about right now, what way to go. I get it, they do cost more, but it is worth it in my opinion across the board. So absolutely.
Yep. He put me in debt for that reasoning.
Yeah, that's why you have two turbo kits for the same car.
I have 2 turbo kits.
For the same car.
Yep, for the same car. If anyone wants an 8-speed turbo kit, it does not work on 5 speeds. I can tell you that much right now. That's why I bought a second. So
Yep.
I have an 8-speed turbo kit. Buy it, please. Good God, get me out of debt. Jesus.
Help the man out.
Help
the man
me.
out. Clear some inventory or space in my shop too, please.
Yes.
Somebody buy that turbo.
Yeah, but
All right, well, we'll jump into the could you, should yous and the questions that we have. So why don't you go grab that?
yes, sir. I'm gonna get you started. Could you, should you expect to make 1,000 wheel horsepower by only spending $5,000 on a stock Hellcat?
Yeah, why not?
No and no. Unless you have a dyno that you can just put in 1,000 horsepower.
That's not a could you, should you. That's
Nope.
literally you just upset about somebody asking for that.
Yeah.
So,
Run an E85 tune without a gauge. Could you, should you? I want to do it on a budget. I'm thinking I'm only going to do 85. I get it from a gas station. It's always 82%.
So to slow down, since you
Sorry.
just transitioned right in, you
I
know how
did.
too low works. The question is, could you run E85 tuning,
show that.
right? Could you run E85 tuning without an ethanol gauge to measure your content? Could you? People have done it for years. Yes, you could. Should you? We don't think so, and here's the reasons why, right? I know there's a lot of people out there that go, oh, it's consistent at the pump all the time, it's going to be the same number. So you're guessing. You're going to leave. You got to understand the tunes unless it's flex fuel based. So we're going to talk non-flex fuel based cars. Your tune is set up for a given alcohol or ethanol content, which is a given octane, which determines the aggression of the tune, right? So you're leaving it to chance. That gas pump is going to maintain that same quality, right? So anybody, especially like in the Midwest, you know, the ethanol content changes on a weekly basis, okay? So that's one of the concerns you have. 2, I know a lot of people that, you know, that occasionally will use the test tube and the, you know, fill it up at the pump before they put it in. Now, here's the thing about that. 1, you're relying on somebody to put a sticker on a test tube and make it accurate. 2, you're also relying on the fact that you got to fill it with 10% water, or, you know, to the line, and then fill it with the rest of the way. So you're also then relying on that your measurements are accurate as well. So again, leaving it to chance. We don't like to leave things to chance here, okay? So that's why we, on all the builds we do in-house, we install ethanol content sensors. So that way you know actually what ethanol is at your fuel rail, okay? Now, things you have to consider when using the test tubes as well, you're assuming that's only going to split water and ethanol. You don't know about detergents or dirt or anything else that might be mixed in with that, right?
Jungle juice.
So you're relying on that. I've seen where test tubes showed 80%, but an ethanol gauge showed 10%. So again, I don't like leaving things to chance, right?
Nope.
And for those that don't really understand, an 85% ethanol tune should be different than a 70% ethanol tune, which should be different than a 60% ethanol tune. So this is why it's important to know what is at the fuel rail and why we install ethanol content sensors on all our E85 builds. So do you want to leave it to chance and guess what your ethanol is, just like inferred logic? Do you want to guess what the ethanol content is at any given time when you're flashing that tune or running that type of tune? Okay, so no, I don't think you should. I know people do it, but in regards to could you, people do it. Should you? I don't think so. That's my personal recommendation.
I like it. Good answer. Could you, should you? Actually, I ran the 85 without a gauge for a while, and I didn't know what I had no idea. And I put a gauge in, and then I saw every time I fill up, the gauge reads something different, even though I'm going to the same station. Wait a minute. Someday I fill up and it's 75 and I'm real happy. And the other day I fill up and it's 64.
Yeah. I've actually had a customer in the past too that they refused to put a gauge in and they wanted a spicy tune, and I told them you had to verify that your ethanol content was 80% or above for a spicy tune. And they swore to me that the pump tests 80% all the time, and a week later they popped their motor and when they drained the tank it was under 60% ethanol. So again,
it takes one time.
It doesn't take much, guys. It
No.
really does not take much. So again, do you want to leave it to chance? To me, an ethanol gauge costs a lot less than a motor.
And
So-
typically, when you make that jump, most cases have a decent amount of money into the car. It's not much. It's cheap insurance. You know what I mean? How much insurance do you pay on your car a month?
Right.
$300 for a
That you
gauge that
never
lasts
use.
the life of the car.
Right.
You literally never use it.
Right.
Yeah, get a gauge. Just do it right. Do it right. It's not hard. Speaking of doing it right, it's not hard. Could you, should you, let's say, just for sake of it, on a Scat Pack or RT, make 700 to 750 wheel on either stock lines or returnless style fuel system? Oh boy.
So, kind of go over that. So I get it, Hellcats are returnless style fuel systems, right? Now, they're very well engineered. Hey!
We can
Chill.
hear that.
They're very well engineered systems. They have fuel pressure control modules. They have baffles built into the fuel rails to help absorb the pulses. So to kind of understand, I've made, I had a 392. I made 670 to the wheels with it when I put our Poacher supercharger kit on it. And that's 650 is kind of where I like to limit those things, guys. And the reason why, when you have a return style fuel system, you have to understand, especially in hey,
Some class.
relax. If you have an understanding of what's happening with a bulkhead, deadhead, or returnless style fuel system, the fuel pump literally is just pushing against the wall constantly. Okay. So inside they have a regulator that's built in from the factory, 57392 setups, and they it's an orifice that actually regulates the fuel pressure for you. That's how they do it. So when you're a boosted application, which is what you need to achieve those type of numbers for the most part. Nitrous is a little different because the demands aren't quite the same. I know you're watching, so that's a little different, but when you're talking a boosted application, essentially what's happening is there's pulses that happen inside of the fuel system. So what we have to understand is, you have 8 injectors, for example, that are constantly opening in a pattern. And then you have the fuel pump, which is a fan spinning that's going to create pulses. So it's going to be one of those things where the fuel delivery, you're hoping, again, taking a chance that the delivery at each injector is exactly the same. Sorry. Said I was sick. So,
Our next product review is cough medicine.
yeah, right. So you're relying on the injector to be able to achieve the same fuel pressure every time each injector opens, and that's not going to happen, especially when you're pushing it to the limit. On top of that, fuel pressure is dropping when you're introducing boost, right? So for an application where to make 750, 780, 800 wheel horsepower out of a 392 returnless style fuel system, you got real small fuel lines there. You got a lot of things in place that aren't real good for it, and then you have fuel pressure dropping on the back end regardless of what you try to do. It's just not optimal, guys. And I know all of us use a wideband that's put into an exhaust that is essentially a collection of multiple cylinders, right? Well, some people seem to forget is one cylinder could be 11.5 AFR, the other could be 12.5 AFR, right? So what happens when you have one cylinder leaning out and the other's not? Well, you can blow head gaskets, you can melt pistons, you can take out spark plugs. So there are variables in fuel flow, and also in considering as well the intake system that you have too. There's going to be irregular airflow distribution too. So there's a lot of variables that go into play that you're leaving at chance and stressing a system that's not truly designed for it. Again, Hellcats, they have fuel pressure control modules, so their fuel pumps are pulse width modulated. They have baffles built into it. It's designed for it a lot different than a returnless style fuel system that doesn't have pulse width modulation or anything built into it. Okay, so just be careful out there. I get it, you can do it on the dyno. Yes, dyno, there's less load. The pulls are very short compared to a quarter mile puller or 60 to 130 or something like that, where you're truly stressing something out. So just because somebody advertises they did it on the dyno once or twice or that, you have to follow kind of what happens after the fact. When they're actually driving it, is there damage at that point? Are they melting plugs? Is there damage coming up from other areas? So it's just not smart. So could you? No. Should you? No. Just
do it right.
The last area to skimp on any build is the fuel system, guys. It's the bloodline of everything. So if you're going to cut corners, there's other ways where you can maximize the dollar. But a fuel system, just do it right the first time. Again, it's cheaper to do that than having to rebuild your motor or take it apart multiple times or source a new block because a rod makes an appearance, whatever the case may be. So, I get it. You think you're saving money up front, but most of the time that's not the case long term. So.
I mean, facts, nothing but facts. It's way better to overbuild something and not need it than ending up need it and, oh, well, it's too late. You know what I mean? Once it pops, it pops. You can't go back, put a fuel system in, and everything gets magically fixed. Sadly. Could you, should you? Jeff, I'm not reading that comment. I'm just not wasting my time.
What did he say?
He wants a damn...
Head commander?
Yeah, and a throttle body spacer. I'm going to 3D print one. I might do that.
I'm just ignoring you because of that.
Okay.
What's
Could
next?
you, should you? Trust what you read online. I did this and I haven't had issues. XYZ. Just because one person does it, can everyone else do it and have the exact same, hey, yeah, I made 800 horsepower boosted on a stock motor 6.4 and it hasn't blown up?
The internet's can be a great thing and a horrible thing, and it's more horrible than not, right? I mean, we're sitting here on the internet now talking to you guys and giving advice and things like that, so it's one of those that right now the amount of confidence people display when they're responding to a post or something like that. You gotta really take things with a grain of salt and do your research when it comes to responses. Is my opinion on it. What it comes out to be is it's all information is good information is the way I look at it, because wrong information is still information, and it's a matter of collaborating and coming up with the actual answer and the resolution for what you're trying to achieve. So there is good information out there. The problem is it's diluted because of the amount of bad information that's out there. So just pick and choose your sources wisely, and like I said, just look at the bigger picture of things. So, but yeah, it's frustrating.
The line is, find a shop you like, go with the info they provide, and stick with them.
Yeah.
Yup. That's that. Kind of running up empty here. We're going to erase this. Could you, should you put a 6.4 in your 05 300C and run E85 on a stock fuel pump and fuel lines? Cam only. Will it support it, or should I upgrade my fuel system?
Oh, you're fine. NA, you're fine.
I'll be fine, NA. What about my injectors? Should I run E85 on stock 6.4 injectors, Jeremy?
What?
Should I run E85 on stock 6.4 injectors?
No.
Oh.
We got over that last week. So.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We ate before this.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, the energy's kind of there.
The energy. Well, I'm sick as all get out, so I'm trying to muscle through, but I can't even keep my eye open.
Ooh, could you, should you? JB4 for your RHO.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't even have RHOs. It's the Hurricane equipped vehicle. So Grand Wagoneers, all those Rams with the SO and HOs, man, the JB4 is outstanding. If you didn't hear, we're a dealer for them, so we can order them for you. We can get it installed and do dyno results for you if you'd like. So, those with those Hurricanes, man, we're talking to more and more people, and they're more impressive. So,
it's so much fun to drive.
Sadly, it's snowing, so I can't keep testing. Stupid weather here.
Yeah.
So it's not.
We're on a fast times list now, ain't we?
Oh,
you can't do a sub 4.1 0.60. Yeah, you can.
Wow, that was aggressive.
I don't know.
That was aggressive.
I'm
So this might be one of the shorter ones if there's no more questions.
Should you see Darren for all your DSM needs? Yeah, if you have a DSM, I'm sorry for you. But there's a guy, Mr. Darren, he seems to have a lot of them, and he constantly seems to have parts going around. So, hit him up. He's got a bunch of them. Or one. I don't know. He posts about a lot of pictures.
A lot of pictures, so. All right. If there's no more,
Dying.
there are no questions.
There are no
came
more
through,
questions.
that's fine.
Does anyone have any questions before we dip out? Just want to say purple cars are faster for one.
Yeah. Just blame me, guys. I'm sorry. I'm sick. Family's sick. We're trying to get through it. So anybody out there, man, I tell you right now, my family's got RSV and influenza type A and norovirus. It's been the year of all get out. We've been to ER several times. I think I might have to go for my eye right now. I have no idea what's going on, but I can't see. I can't talk.
It's
So
super puffy.
it
We're
is.
10 days.
Yeah, I can't even.
We're
I'm struggling to keep it open.
10 days into the year.
10 days into the year.
Starting out strong.
There we go. So
Looks like a baby
The good thing is when you're sick,
keep my- it hurts
you
so
typically
bad.
lose a bit of weight when you're sick. So it is a driver mod to get the flu. You might drop a 10, you probably won't.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm sick as all get out. So.
I might. It depends when you
can't even
got to
read
tell
that.
me. Is Tulo going to get lunch with us when Darren and I are in the area? You got to let me know when. And I probably will, but maybe not. But I possibly can. But we'll see.
There you go.
Time dependent.
Love you too, no homo.
Yeah, gang. We have a bunch of parts for sale. A garage sale post is still active. Hellcat blocks for sale, long blocks. Trackhawk front subframe with the Brembo
Huh?
spindles.
We have a Whipple 3.8.
Yeah, we have
We just came across a brand new Whipple 3.8.
the new revision and all that.
Yep.
So she's primo. If you want one of those, hit us up. We have an Edelbrock 2650. I have one for sale.
Yeah.
I have a turbo kit for sale.
Got
Jeremy's
stuff for sale.
Yeah, we're having our own crypto coin now. We're gonna pull the rug
Shut up.
on it 5 weeks in and take all your money. Hawk Tua style. It's gonna be called an old man
The
coin.
RHO's for sale. It's price for everything.
Yeah.
So if you're waiting for RHO on your tire, just buy mine.
Yeah.
It'll come with the JB4.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. I'm not feeling well, so blame me. Keep questions coming. If you're seeing this later, we'll answer them next week. Hopefully, we'll feel better. Thanks again, guys. We'll
Love
see then.
you.